Rupa Gadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinbandhu Jagat Pate Gopesha Gopika Kantha Radha Kanta Namaste. Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishvanuste Devi Pranamami Hari Priyai. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Magyanti Mirandasya Gyana Janchalakaya Chakshurmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. So, okay. So we're going to start Updeshamrita, which is also called as Nectar of Devotion. And this was spoken, these are the 11 verses which were spoken by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and STC in Jagannath Puri. Once Mahaprabhu with his associates went to the ocean in Jagannath Puri, and there when he saw the trees, the sand dunes, the earth, the water, he got into ecstasy of Vrindavan and Govardhan. And it was by huge effort, his associates brought him back to the consciousness. But during that time, he spoke these instructions to Rupa Goswami, which Rupa Goswami Prabhupada later compiled in the form of Updeshamrita or Updeshamrita. The spelling is wrong. Updeshamrita is also called as Updesh means instruction, Amrit means nectar. So nectar in instructions, which are spoken by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Rupa Goswami, and Rupa Goswami compiling it for our own benefit. So we are gonna do two shows. One is this slideshow, and then the Subodhini is very nice. So I'll go offline and then we'll go to that part. Okay. And the handbook is also very nice about this Updeshamrita, Nectar of Instruction and Nectar of Devotion. Let's pay our obeisances. Krishna to Shri Radha, Shri Radha Govinda before we go ahead. And Shri Prabhupada. So I want you to tell me what is the meaning of this pranam. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Tadati Swapadantikam. Okay, I'll say. So Shri Chaitanya of Lord Chaitanya. Okay, when will Shri Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who has established within this material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet. So for the next few days, we are going to be meditating on Rupa Goswami Prabhupada's preachings to us. So a little bit about the author, who is Sri Rupa Goswami Prabhupada. He was born in 1489 in Brahman Saraswati family in the province of present-day Kashmir. But then he was actually born in a Brahman Saraswati family, but then he took up as a job in the kingdom or province of Nawab Hussain Shah. The spellings are wrong, I'm sorry. But then he met with Lord Chaitanya and Ramakeli, and then second time he met in Prayag, and he's also called as Rasacharya. So he wanted to give up his job from Nawab Hussain Shah and join Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but the Nawab was not letting them go. So he took the retirement, the voluntary retirement. But then Sanatan Goswami also wanted to take the voluntary retirement, and that's when the problem happened. So Rupa Goswami, the DD is Govindji. When you go to Vrindavan next time, okay, tell me whose DD is Radharaman? Which Goswami? Radharaman. You don't know? Gopal Bhatt Goswami. Madan Mohan. Madan Mohan is whose? Nathan Goswami. All right. So like that, Govindji is Rupa Goswami. So he gave us a lot of literature, Updeshamrita, Lalita Madhva, Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, Vigada Madhava, etc. This is from your handbook, that there are 11 verses, and this is the overview. First 3 verses establish the foundation and advancement of bhakti. Then what to do, what not to do, like how to engage in sadhu sangha in 4 to 6 verses. Then 7 to 8 verses, engage the tongue and mind in chanting and remembering Krishna. 9 to 11 verses, best devotees and best places for bhajan. This is the first verse. Vacho Vegam. Who knows the verse? You can also recite after I finish. I think you're supposed to memorize this verse. Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Udarupastha Vegam, Etan Veganyo Vishaheta Dhira Sarvam Apimam Prithvim Sasishyat. So who knows the verse? Anvya Mataji, you know the verse?
Yes, Mataji. It's not by heart, but I can recite.
Okay, tell me. Please recite.
Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jivha Vegam, Udarapastha Vegam, Etan Vegan Yo Vishaheta Dhiraha, Sarvam Pimam Prithivim Sashishyat.
Very nice. So a sober person who can tolerate the 6 urges. What are the urges? Vacho Vegam, urge to speak. Manasa Krodha Vegam, the mind's demands, the actions of anger, and the urges of tongue, belly, and genitals is qualified to make disciples all over the world. So this is a definition of a Goswami, basically. And Srila Prabhupada gives the purport is divided into many parts. If you have read the purport, Prabhupada gives his commentary, and then Prabhupada gives the commentary of Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada from Anuvritti Bhashya, I think that's what it's called as. And then he also gives some precept from Bhaktivinoda Thakur Prabhupada's understanding. So atonement or prashchit, this is a very big discussion. Right now we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam 6th canto, 1st chapter also. Other class that Sukdev Goswami has described the different hellish planets in the last chapter of 5th canto, the 26th chapter, and different kind of sufferings and who goes where. And so Parikshit Maharaj is very anxious to know if there is a way that the humanity can be saved from going to those hellish planets. So Sukdev Goswami is answering that question, how can the humanity be saved from going to the hellish planets, by giving different kinds of propositions. So he gives the first kind of proposition as atonement, which Parikshit Maharaj rejects. Because he says this atoning and sinning is a professional business. It doesn't really go anywhere. It is compared to the example of a elephant, which takes a very nice and long bath in the river, but as soon as it comes back on the shore, it just puts dirt all over its body. Okay, then Sukdev Goswami gives a second reason or second proposition as to how one can be saved from going to the hellish planet, and that is by cultivating knowledge. Because says that ignorance is the root cause of sinful activity. So cultivate knowledge that will give you a perception of what is right, what is wrong. So you will not do the impious activity. Yes, that can help one to further inhibit or prohibit from doing the sinful activity, but it also has a drawback that it does not take the desire, the root of the desire from the heart to commit for the sinful activity. So Parikshit Maharaj rejects that also. Then what does he say? He talks about bhakti. That bhakti is the only assured way, and then the pastime of Ajamil unfolds. Okay, so like that, Parikshit atonement is false or is not permanent because it doesn't clean the heart. It doesn't uproot the weeds. And there is an example given of the thief, the elephant, and the Hare Krishna chanter and Christians. Yes, you read the purport. I'm just going to touch upon this. Thief, the people learn by seeing and by hearing. The intelligent person learns by hearing. Less intelligent person learns by seeing. So a thief may have seen other people who have done the similar activities being punished, suffering, but then they can't check themselves from doing it. And so is by hearing. And the elephant example I gave. And Hare Krishna, that Nam Aparad. If somebody is chanting Hare Krishna, and then on the strength of chanting Hare Krishna is committing sin by thinking that I will chant more and that will nullify my sin, then that's Namaprad. And Christian, that confession, Saturday you go confess, Sunday start the sinful activity again. And the other thing comes is tapasya. So tapasya is like voluntarily taking up some discomfort. Voluntarily. We don't like to be uncomfortable. We don't like to do hard things, but taking up something, like for example, in our case, restricting our food intake, like what are we going to eat? Or following 4 regulatory principles, or chanting 16 rounds, or getting up early in the morning. So, but tapasya is important. Some voluntary activity is important, but here we are talking about the extreme. Like in the summer, some people sit in the middle and light fire all around in a hot sun. Have you ever seen anyone like that? Person sitting in the middle and then lighting fire all around in the hot sun? No, we haven't seen Nikhil Prabhu. Anyone else has seen? Anya Mataji, have you seen anyone like that? Why your camera's off? No one has seen like that? Anyone?
Mataji, repeat your question. You have seen what?
A person who's sitting in the middle and then lighting fire all around, and then in the hot summer. In a hot
Yeah,
summer.
we see on the television, sometimes they show some sadhus and what, or in movies.
No, I have seen it really. And it's so hot. It's so hot, like it's so hot from far away. And they're sitting in the middle. I think their body will melt. It's hot for that person, but it is also hot for an observer. So hot. Oh my God, my feet were burning. So it is really, really difficult. And then Prabhupada gives example of somebody submerging itself in a cold, cold river in a cold, cold night. So all these tapasyas, one can regulate one's senses, but then it doesn't uproot the tendency to commit further sinful activities. Okay, so this is, and then the real atonement is coming to the knowledge. And we can come to the knowledge by mystical yoga process or by bhakti and regulatory principle of Krishna consciousness. So coming to the knowledge by bhakti and regulatory principle of Krishna consciousness is easiest. And it stays longer because there is Krishna factor there. And that's what Nectar of Instruction is about, that we are going to come to the knowledge by bhakti and regulatory principles. So let's talk about the 6 urges very briefly. Vacho Vegam, or the urge to speak. So what is useless speech? The examples are given. What are the examples given in this particular purport about useless speech? What are the examples given?
Talking about materialistic things, Mataji.
Yeah, materialistic people talking to each other, and the speech of Mayavadis or impersonalists.
Like
Huh?
frogs croaking.
Yeah, this compared to the croaking of the frogs, talk of the speech of the materialistic and Mayavadi people is compared to the croaking of the toads or frogs, because that attracts the snakes and the snakes will come and kill them. So useless things. I think I have spoken about it. Jiva Goswami Prabhupada gives 3 gradations of the different kinds of talks. Does anyone remember? Jiva Goswami Prabhupada tells there are 3 gradations of talks.
Mataji, is it talking about people, talking about events, and talking about wisdom is talking about
Yeah,
knowledge? Yeah.
very nice. So talking about lowest level of talk is talking about people. That this person did this person is like this person nature is like this person said this to this person. So talking about people, lowest level of talk. And then he says the mediocre level of talk is talk about events. This person, there's this marriage ceremony going on, there's this kirtan going on, there's this going on, events across the world, there's this war going on. The highest level of talk is talk about the wisdom. So the useless things, Prabhupada gives reference to different, so many kinds of books, what to do, how to be happy, how to control others, how to become the boss of your boss, or so many how to, what to. Newspaper, TV, radio, talk shows, internet. My God, it's like if then we can see that where my speech needs to be controlled. An example is frogs. And if you can control the urge to speech, then we can teach the entire world. How do we control? We don't control by Maun Vrat or by going silent, but we control by regulating the content of the speech, which is pertaining to the highest wisdom, which is Krishna consciousness. Okay, so it's not that we are not impersonalists. We are not going to say control means stop talking. Control means stop eating. Like not like that. Control means change the content of whatever the action is. Okay, so we can watch where the time is going. Then the other urge is urge of the mind. Manasa Vegam. So mind, pure mind will lead to pure senses. So artificial attempt to control the mind by meditation in today's world, or by avoiding, avoiding to go to places or people, is not going to work. So what do? Mind has three functions: thinking, feeling, and willing. So Rupa Goswami Prabhupada is teaching us that change the content of thinking. How do we change the content of thinking of the mind? By devotional service. It's not that, okay, let me think of Krishna, let me think of Krishna. Okay, yes, that's fine. I'm not saying don't do that, because Krishna himself says, Mam Anusmara Yuddha Cha. But he's also like Anusmara Yuddha Cha, and fight. So we need to do some sort of a devotional service. Devotional service is a method of developing or reviving our relationship with Krishna. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada says that there are two kinds of agitation of the mind. What are they? Avirodha Priti and Virodha Yukta Krodha. Avirodha Priti is uncontrolled attachment or desires. And Virodha Yukta Krodha is anger arising from frustration because some need of the mind was not met. I hope you all read this. So controlling the mind brings the satisfaction. When Brahma is describing the origin of different things in second canto Srimad Bhagavatam, and he describes the origin of the mind from different modes. Does anyone remember mind is originating from what mode? He's describing, no, these senses are coming from this mode, intelligence is coming from this mode, mind is coming from this mode. In second canto, what mode of nature is material mind originating from? What mode of nature?
Passion, Mataji.
Okay, anyone else? We don't read Srimad Bhagavatam, or we read, but we don't remember. You know why we don't remember?
Mode
Because
of
we
goodness, Mataji.
what, Mataji?
Mode of goodness.
Yeah, oh yes. So if you were guessing, then your guess is right. Yes, it is mode of goodness. That is why mind is looking for satisfaction. And the only satisfaction we can ever give it is in the transcendental level because of the mode of goodness. So mind is coming from mode of goodness, but we are feeding it with mode of passion or ignorance all the time. So it becomes uncontrolled. So to control the mind, bring it to the mode of goodness. And that will bring you to satisfaction, at least minimum mode of goodness. Okay, so think of the lotus feet of Krishna, and we cannot think of the lotus feet of Krishna unless and until we are engaged in the devotional service by regulated processes given to us by the Acharya. Same thing goes on again and again. Third urge is anger or krodh. Anger, I think we had a big discussion on anger, right? We finished, maybe last week only, anger. What is anger? How does anger come about? What kind of anger we are harboring for Krishna, and what is transcendental anger, and how do we transform that, right? So anger is when a man's lust is unfulfilled. And it's compared to I'm holding the coal in my hand with an intent to throw at you, but I'm also getting burnt, right? More harm is done to me. So what is the solution? The solution is not to get angry. The solution is to direct the anger for the protection of the devotees. So, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got angry at Jagai and Madai, Hanuman got angry at Ravan, Arjun fought the war by exhibiting his anger. Okay, so the same quality, but it can be used to elevate ourselves to go to Krishna, and it can be used to stay here or go down. The same thing. This is very unique to bhakti. There is no other school which teaches us these things. The urge of the tongue, jiva. So there are 6 kinds of taste, and tongue has this desire to taste different things and also to vibrate, right? So what is the solution? It's not that don't eat or eat only bland food or live only on salads or go do keto diet or do what kind of a diet? Keto diet, or what are the other kinds of diet that go around in the world? Give me some examples.
Dikshit diet.
Which diet?
Dikshit. It is like you have meals only twice a day.
Oh yeah, and then there is this
Yes,
once a
and
week day diet and anti-inflammatory diet. So many kinds of diets. So one can try, but it doesn't really help for long. But prasad restriction, simple sattvic food. I'm not saying don't explore those opportunities, because food can serve as a medicine and food can also serve as a disease, can bring disease. Every morsel we put in our mouth, it can lead to the disease in the inside of the body. So take at schedule time, not at the restaurants, and considering your body's type or need. It's said according to Ayurveda, 50% of the stomach should be filled with food, 25% with water, and 25% with air. This is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam. If we can practice that. If I see, once there's a devotee in Mangalore who once was teaching us, this is besides of this, that if you ever see Prabhupada's videos, just observe how he eats. You just observe. He's always eating by sitting down, and he always likes to eat, not always, most of the time likes to eat alone. And he's not doing anything else when he's eating. He's not talking. He's not, holding a conversation with someone else. He's just concentrating on the prasadam. So basically, it becomes a mode of bhakti. Becomes like a way of expressing bhakti by connecting with Krishna through prasadam. And one more thing, Sridhar Prabhu taught me in Bangalore, that when Prabhupada drinks water, he never touches the glass to the lip. He always does it from the top. Okay, so belly or udar, the desire to overeat leads to diseases. We know now from modern, this was very old also, but we now know from modern scientific research that most of the diseases, especially in the brain, are connected to the condition of the belly. So what's happening in the belly is directly connected to the brain. For example, Alzheimer's disease or Parkinson's. So it's a mistake for an old person to overeat or undereat. So Krishna says in 6th chapter Bhagavad Gita, right? I think it's verse 16. There is no possibility of becoming a yogi if one eats too much or eats too little, sleeps too much or sleeps too little, right? Then he says in the next verse, there is a need for the one who is regulated in his habit of eating, sleeping, and recreation can mitigate all material distresses. So Krishna says is eating, one who can regulate the activities of eating, sleeping, and recreation. So eat to live, not live to eat. Fasting for Ekadashi and festivals helps us regulate. Also nurtures our bhakti, but also helps us regulate our body. So Prabhupada explains that these three things are in the same line: tongue, belly, genital. So if the tongue goes out of control, then the belly also goes out of control, which leads to genitals going out of the control. So that's how he explains it. Eating all kinds of things, everything moving, non-moving, is going to prove very detrimental according to our scriptures. So if we are intelligent, we will learn by hearing. And then the last one is genitals, or upastha. So illicit relationship, which lead to unrestricted illicit relationship, leads to degradation of the soul. So illicit use of 5 types: thinking, planning. Actually, I recently read in Canto, in Ajamil's past, and read 8 kinds of illicit relationships. 8. But Prabhupada only mentions 5. But in this verse, there are 5 types mentioned in this verse. Thinking about illicit relationship, planning, talking, doing, and then artificial means. It's very heavy on consciousness. It's very, very heavy on consciousness. We say that, okay, you can do whatever, yato mat tato fat, do whatever you want to do, like the present generation. Nobody cares. But it has detrimental effects on the consciousness. So the scriptures are telling us not to do this, but they're also telling us what to do. So one can use one can use one's urges of the genitals to beget Krishna conscious children. So this is from Rupa Goswami Prabhupada's Nectar of Instruction and Prabhupada's Purport. But if you read Krishna's like news, or if you follow any of those, then this is a very big, it's a hot potato voice in ISKCON. And then there are so many gurus who have given their opinion, because most of the people in ISKCON feel guilty. It's a very well-known phenomena, very well-known fact all over about not being able to follow some of the principles. So, and then they give a reference to that verse of Bhagavad Gita, 3rd chapter, 33rd verse, that what can repression accomplish. So I'm just saying, I'm just trying to bridge 2 gaps, that, okay, this is strictly according to the syllabus for sake of passing your Bhakti Shastra exam, as to what Rupa Goswami Prabhupada is saying, what Srila Prabhupada is writing. But in the real world, we do see that most of the devotees are not able to follow the regulatory principles. Yesterday, I gave a talk with the Vaishnavi Sanghas in South Africa about does mental health matter, taking lessons from the conversation of Krishna and Arjun. And there were some devotees from Europe, and they said that Sachidanand Maharaj said that over 90% of the devotees in Europe are not able to chant 16 rounds every day, even though they're initiated. So over 90%. So we're discussing why. Why are they not able to chant 16 rounds? Over 90% of devotees in Europe. And then we try to like fake it, that we are, very goody devotees. So we were discussing all that how does this impact our mental health? What kind of negative emotions we start harboring subconsciously, even though we are trying to be Krishna conscious at the same time, like guilt, shame, embarrassment, fear of rejection, all those things. Okay, so it is very, very, very important to be honest with oneself, because honesty will bring fearlessness. And if we are not fearless, then we will be always like, okay, I'm chanting Hare Krishna, but I'm like not really relishing it. So in conclusion, tolerating the urges, it's a conscious act, not a suppression. It's not that I'm waiting for some siddhi to come and, put this thing on me. No, it's a conscious effort. Okay, so I will go offline, and then we will just go over the same thing.